our second episode. How did it feel last week to do the first one?
It was
so fun.
Yeah.
So fun. And we really loved your comments. Keep them coming.
It's fun to hear your experiences and how you felt about the things that we talked about.
Plus, it's good girl time for us, right?
Yes.
Chit chat and vent.
Do you feel like you have, or before you had children, or even now, an idea of what a good mother is? And do you feel like you live up to your expectation of what that is?
I think as a mother, you could never live up to that.
No.
I think you're hardest on yourself.
Yeah. But I think it's because of the love that we have for our kids. We know they deserve the world, and it's like, but then I think that's also being a woman. We never give ourselves enough credit. Like, we're always so hard on ourselves. I kind of talked about this in one of my previous videos, where it's like, beginning of motherhood, I was like, this vision of my mother who, like, in my eyes as a child, she was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, like, she did everything right all the time, and the house was always clean, and there was always fresh cookies baked, and I was just like, in my little child eyes, it was like, that's what a mother is, and I'm going to be a perfect mother when I grow up. And then, like, when you have a baby, you realize that that's not how it is. And it's like, I never learned how to sew, I can't do this, my house is always a mess, like all these things that you just start to beat yourself up over. And I've realized that, okay, all those things are like goals of mine and things that I want to do, but they don't define who I am. And you just need to realize that who I am as a person is who I need to be to my kids, and not worry about being a mother, you know, like the perfect mother.
Right.
Just
I saw a quote the other day, and it said, "Sorry about the mess. My kids are making memories." Like that is
perfect.
so great, because that's what we want, is our kids to have fun memories. And when you're trying to be this ideal mother, what are you doing to your kids? When I'm cleaning, I'm always like, go in your room, go clean your room. And I don't want them to only have those memories. If my house is going to be messy, hopefully it's because we were playing, or we were making a craft, or we were cooking together, and that's okay.
Yeah, my mom said that too. She, recently she was like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have even worried about keeping the house clean. It didn't matter. I don't know why that seemed so important at the time.
Right.
Like, everything had, she's like, we could have just played more clean."
Because I think at the end of the day, you realize how fast time goes by, and how much of that time do you feel like is wasted on worrying about silly things, or worrying about what the neighbors think or what your friends think, when all that really matters is your children and your time and your memories. So
I think it's hard to not feel like, well, I feel like Cooper's around, so it's like I'm being a mom, but like how much one-on-one interaction, like, and to me it's kind of like a checklist. Have I done the laundry? Have I cooked? Have I cleaned? And it's like, at the end of the day, though, it's like how your kids felt about you in the day. Like last night, Cooper's like, Mom, we went to Arthur Christmas. He's like, Mom, that was such a fun day. Let's do it again tomorrow. Like, just like the little things like that, I think should define us as mothers, and not like, because I can't sew if my life depended on it. So, but I don't feel like it makes me like any less of a mom. You know.
I think we tend to focus a lot of times, just like we are as human beings, on the things we don't do and should do, rather than really kind of focus on what we're doing and what we're creating and what we're giving. Because if you really sit down and if you were to write down on the things you do and all the things you don't do, you do more than what you don't do.
Right.
So like you said, we are being hard on ourselves, and we can always do more, but you gotta kind of just be happy with what you offer and what you do.
And I think as a mom, we compare ourselves to our friends and how they're mothering, and those things work for them. Like, every family works differently, so it's okay if you're not doing exactly what they're doing, because you're doing things that they're not doing. So I just think it's okay to
be different. And possibly they're feeling that way too. It looks a certain way.
Well, it's fun, like, been living with you guys. And, like, not that I'm saying you're not the perfect mothers that I saw you as, but it's like you see what does happen behind closed doors, and it's like not that you have to go live with somebody to know how they are, but
sometimes I wish you didn't say that.
But it's real life. Like, you have to realize life is life. You can't plan it. It's not cookie cutter. It never is.
No.
Right. But do you feel like, we were talking about that the other night, you were just like, you're sort of in the middle of making more videos, and you're like, it's taking my time away from the kids, and just that you get upset about it, and just like, so are you sort of now on a path of like, okay.
Yeah, it's finding a balance, because Kayli and I were talking about this too. Like, you realize because I've always just been a stay-at-home mom, stayed home, and I was a fitness instructor for a while, so I'd be gone like an hour or 2 hours a day. But I found out when I was more with my kids, sometimes it was harder to spend time with them, because because you start to get like, oh, don't bother me right now, I need a break. Like, you needed a break. And so it would get more stressful. Like, you felt like you were spending too much time at home, not necessarily quality time, but like trying to get stuff done, and, you know?
But I think there's studies that it's sometimes it's better to give them a little
Right.
space
Yeah.
and time.
They need a
That you're a
break.
better
They need
mom.
a break.
Because I'm
Exactly.
having like
Yeah.
the opposite.
Exactly.
I was used to being at the salon for 12 hours a day. Now I'm home more, getting ready, preparing videos. I'm here a lot more, and I'm having that issue with where I feel like I'm always telling my kids, just a minute, because I know I'm home. So I think,
Right.
I'll do that later. So it's just
like, you can
so
appreciate
hard.
the moments more sometimes when you're not with them 24 hours.
Right.
But it feels good also as women to be doing something other than parenting, because we're so reminded all the time, every day, that we're moms, and you know, we're moms, we're women, we're wives, we're sisters, we're friends, we're, you know, career women. So as far as just kind of balancing everything to make it one.
I mean, it's kind of like absence makes the heart grow. What did they say? Fonder. It's kind of like that with your kids. When you're not around them all the time, you're missing them, and you can't wait to get home and read a story with them, or you can't wait to get home and cook dinner and spend time with them. So
I'll go to coffee with a friend of mine who's a mom, and then we'll be like, oh, we still need a break, let's go get coffee. We sit down, and the entire time we're talking about our kids. We're like, oh, I miss her, what she's doing. It's just, you know, we're moms.
I think it's finding a balance no matter what kind of mom you are. Like, if you do stay home, just, you know, finding a balance, something that's a little outlet for you, or, you know, just...
what about you, Carly? You're so quiet. I was going to tell you, I think you always make the best of your time with Cooper. You're so hard on yourself, but when you have Cooper, he's happy nonstop. Like, you make the best of your time with him.
That's so nice. Well, it's different. Like, it's hard to put input because it's different. I don't have Cooper like I would envision that I'd always like have my child with me, but I share him with his dad. So the time I do have with Cooper, it's like it has to be about him, because I like never
Quality
thought that
time.
like I wouldn't be with him as much.
I'm the same
You're
way.
making me cry.
Your eyes watering.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I'm the same.
Why am
we're
I such
both
a
in the same
softie?
boat.
But somebody, you think I like grew up with all brothers? I'd be like tough.
You are tough. It's okay to know you're tough all the time.
But yeah, when you're not with, it's hard because it's like I see you guys sometimes with your kids all the time, and I'm like, oh, I'm so amazed, and sometimes I'm like, oh, this is nice to have a little break, like just to be able to get up and go to dinner, like, it's good for you guys to do that. Utilize me more when Cooper's gone and I'm missing, and be like, here's our kids, we're going to dinner. I should be able to. And I'll watch your kids too. Lisa, I'll watch your dogs too. I know.
What is something you wish you had known before becoming mothers, like that you could give to the advice to sort of this audience here?
I'll say one thing. Like, I mean, I guess I'm not to that point where my kids are all grown up, but how fast it goes. Like, just from the first, my first child, like, I remember just, like, I couldn't wait for him to walk. I couldn't wait for him to learn to, like, do all these things or start talking. And now I'm like, slow down, please don't start crawling yet. Please don't start walking, because it goes like that. It goes so fast.
It's so hard not to do that, though.
Milestones are exciting though, like the milestones when they crawl, like it is, that's interesting because I only have one, but now looking back to Suntard, I'm like, oh yeah, because I used to watch him and he was a baby, now he's...
One day they don't walk, the next day they do.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember after I had Braylee, knowing how fast she grew up and thinking, I'm not going to let Gage walk. But then we encouraged him still because it's so exciting, but I was like, I'm just going to, like, push him down. Like, no, you're not gonna walk.
It's hilarious.
But he wanted to so bad, he would watch Braylee run, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, I want you to run too, come on. But you do, you want to freeze time so badly.
You really do. It goes so fast. So just enjoy every single moment.
What about you guys? If you could give advice to the audience, like something that, you know, you wish you had known before.
Can't know, and I don't think that you should expect yourself to know. Like you said, they all suddenly just give you this baby, but you're gonna do things how your mom and your grandma did, but you're also gonna become your own person and your own mother. And I think that's like when I started feeling like the best mom was when it's like, I can do this my way, and I have my own thoughts and opinions, and you can't plan for everything. Like, I never thought in a million years I would be a single mom. I never thought that would happen, or that I would ever have to share my baby with, you know, like his time. And so it's like, I think life is all about just taking it as it comes and doing the best with what you've been given and what happens. And when you plan, I think there's people who are planners, but when you plan for things to go a certain way and they don't, that's when you see people freaking out. It's like, if you can just let go and live, then easier said than done, though. But don't plan on, like, you can't plan how your child's gonna be. What if you like want this great relationship, and sometimes kids are challenging and they hate you, or like when we take them to go do such fun things and then they're terrible and you think they would just look at you and be like, but this is so awesome.
You gotta just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Enjoy every moment.
I agree.
That's true in life, though. I mean, that's like, I say that to myself every day.
Yeah.
And the great thing about children is they adapt to everything. Like they don't know the right way to do it. So your way is the right way.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just this.
And
This
they add
clean-
their personality.
Yeah,
Right.
right. I mean, it
Make
just
their own
is
way.
the right way to do things to them.
It's almost just giving them the gift of confidence and their
Yeah.
ability to choose that. Because you remember the moment you realized that maybe your parents weren't doing something right, and you're like, oh yeah, I would do that differently.
Or I love the things I'm like, I will never do that. And then I get on, I'm like, I just did what I wanted. And you're like, dang it. Not that it's bad.
You know, as far as expectations for me, in my case, was having such an effect on my relationship with my husband at the time. Because we were so spontaneous, we would travel all the time, we would go to dinners and had a social life, and, you know, came home at all hours of the day, and then all of a sudden, you know, I was locked up, we didn't have family around, and it was just he and I, and really, today, I mean, it's kind of weird, but I feel like it really kind of disconnected us a little bit, because I was so focused also on my child, and, you know, and we're wives too, we have to constantly be reminded that we're not just a mom, we're a wife, and so for me, that was something I did not expect at all. And you know, looking back, I see a little bit of how things could have been done a little differently. You know, I think just going on dates a little bit more, maybe, you know, getting a nanny.
Well, it kind of changed your relationship. You were a wife, but now you're a wife and a mom. So
Yeah.
you're like, you kind of grow and you change a little bit. And so it's kind of like it can divide you, but it can bring you together if you do it the right way. But I totally
And especially
understand.
the first year of, you know, a child's life, it's more about, I feel like moms are more involved just because, you know, dads are, and that's not all case, obviously there's exceptions, but I feel like dads are, they don't have as much of an interaction until they're toddlers, and they can, you know, talk and play
They're kind
around.
of scared almost.
Yeah, it's more like, you know, babies. Like,
Yeah, I don't like ever remember fighting to change the diaper or bathe them. Like, no, I get to do it. I get to do it. You know.
Did you find that you know your significant others were maybe scared that first year? Is that pretty
I think,
universal here? Or?
I don't think scared. I don't think Shay was necessarily scared. I think he's so like, he has so much more fun with them when they can like interact, you know.
Right.
But he loves them too. Like
Yeah.
he's very gentle. He's always changed diapers, and I mean he's good.
Actually, I'm curious. What was it like with the first child, the first year? Like, what was Shay like?
Actually, like the first night I came home, I was just like, I was still recuperating. I was like shaking, and I was just having a nervous breakdown. And so he's like, "You just go to bed. I will take care of the baby." And I'm like, "Really?" And so he fed him a bottle, and I like came in the next morning. He was laying on like the recliner, the rocking recliner with like a blanket and the baby. And I was like, "You're the best." You know, like he really tried to be involved, even though like the first time he changed a diaper, he wrapped a towel around his head. And he was like,
I thought you meant the baby's head. I was like, why?
Is that something I should know?
wrap a towel around
The baby's head.
but you know, I think that a way to maybe get your husbands, you know, or boyfriends more involved, and what I did with my ex was, you know, we have baby showers where it's women only, and so what I did was to go see all this stuff at Babies R Us is I brought him along. I was like, come with me. And he's like, nah. I was like, made him come with me.
Yeah.
We picked the stuff together, and I was like, do you like this? And if he said no, I was like, okay, what do you like? And then the nursery, we did it together. And then the baby shower, it was co-ed. There was guys there. Because I feel like it's not just a celebration of baby, you know, it's not just your baby, it's his baby too. So I got him involved with everything from the beginning. So when the baby comes, it's not just like, oh, here it is, you know, it's like, oh, it's a process mentally, and finally like, oh, here it is now, you know. I think that's what I did, and I don't know. I think that it's something more women should do.
Yeah. When I had Gage, I was really sick when I had him, and I didn't get to see him the whole day because he was in the NICU.
What were you sick?
I just had a C-section and reacted weird to the
Oh,
medicine.
to the medicine. Okay.
And so Casey spent the whole day there with him, and when we got home, I felt like they had this special connection, the two of them, and it made me jealous. But then to sit back and watch that, you know, watch him interact with him, and you know, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was going with that.
No, that was just great.
I was like, wait, where was I going with that? But anyways, so I think if they have the opportunity, I feel like with Braylee, I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be the best mom. I'm gonna do it.
Right. You start to
But
feel like
with Gage, he was able to do that, and And it was amazing to see that. So I think
So you gotta share. It's the moral of the story. You gotta share with it. If you want them to be involved, you gotta like share them, right?
I think it's interesting too, like going back to, you know, like you said that your relationship kind of like grew apart from each other. Because I've noticed like every once in a while that happens, you know, with Shay and I, and it's because the kids are always like clamoring for your attention. They're crying about it. They're mom, 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 and it's like he doesn't do that. He just kind of sits back. But if I remember, like, okay, we need to spend time together. It's not just all about the kids. Like, it's okay if we, you know, get a babysitter, if we put a movie on for the kids and just spend some time together. That it's like you need to remember, just because he's not like, I need your attention right now. Because by the time you get to that point, it's like, you know, we really need some time together.
Right.
It's just to remember you need that time.
What was something that pleasantly surprised you about becoming a mom? That you just was like,
How funny they are.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that they do take up so much time, and you're busy and it's crazy, but then there are times when I sit and think, what would we be doing right now if we weren't watching our kids just like running and they're like jumping and, you know, what would we be doing with our
I think I
time?
was surprised at how natural it actually felt. Like, because I wasn't planned, I mean, not that it was like a mistake or whatever, but, you know, it was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to be a mom, and how's this going to be? But, like, then you have your baby, and it's just like, this is right. It felt right to me from day one, and so natural. And that's why I think if you try to plan how you're going to feel, you're going to surprise yourself, and it's going to be a fail. It's just like, it's like, oh, I can do this, and I'm okay at it. Like,
did it feel like leading up to it, you didn't know if you'd be a good mom? Or were you like,
no, it's being a mom is so, and like you're physically like, that's why I don't think anybody can really understand a relationship with you and your baby, because like you literally feel them growing inside of you and turning and changing, and the first time you hear that heartbeat that you're growing, it's just like,
amazing.
and then you give all this effort and this labor for this baby, and then like you give them that life, like they get to nurse, and I don't know, it's just amazing. It's kind of like empowering, like, yes, I did this. I did this baby or whatever.
oh gosh, it's another 20
Already?
We're done.
We go so fast. It really does. That's crazy.
Well, we'll be back next week.
Can't wait.
And we've enjoyed all your comments. Keep them coming.
Yes, thank you so much.
Great.
We read them all.
Bye. See you later.